Okay, welcome everyone. We are playing 316 Carnage Amongst the Stars tonight with the Gauntlet. This is the third planet in Kilo Sector. I think this is planet 13 in total. So we're racking through the numbers good. So this is the third planet in this sector. So we've got mostly, I guess, a returning cast of people. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm running this game. So let's do, I guess, intros in rank order, if that makes sense. And then Walter and Horse can fight at the end over who gets to do their intro first.
I am Brian, he, him, and I am playing Lieutenant Terry Miter.
I am Josh, he, him, and I am playing Corporal, he doesn't have a first name, I don't think, Rubinov. Not one that I came up with yet.
I'm Horst, he, him, and because I'm the veteran, I beat Walter to be the second to last one to introduce himself, he, him, and I'm playing Trooper Kaminsky.
I'm Walter, he, him, and I'm playing Trooper Lionel Hudson, who spends more time shooting his video camera than his gun, but he just got a brand new flame gun, so we'll see how much fun he has with that.
Cool, yeah. So, today I think, the carrier Atlas has disgorged you on a special mission. So you have once again been put aboard the Frigate Appalachia, and so your usual routine is a little bit shaken up, but you're still on a warship, and the platoon is in some new bunks, and I think people have gotten to tell some stories about home, or about how and why they signed up for the war. So I'm not sure who started. I think one of the troopers in another squad called Cooper started talking about his brother back home, who told him that he'd never amount to anything, and obviously that was true, right? So he signed up for the brigade, but whatever he's doing back home, he's not having as much fun as Cooper's having with all you guys. So yeah, I guess he shares some stories about home, but I guess I'm wondering what kind of stories all of you feel comfortable sharing with the rest of the squad. So I guess obviously these are not flashbacks, but these are stories that you tell, whether they be true or false or embellished. So let's go back up. Let's start maybe with Hudson. Let's go in reverse order, because I guess no one really wants to tell a story in front of the camera until you've told one of yours.
Hudson is okay, so we're all just, this is like Hudson's got his camera put away. We're all just like, this is like super casual. We're all just like chatting about whatever. And Hudson's talking about how he really misses his little brother. His brother is like 4 years younger than him, and he was like a little kid for a long time, but just as he was packing off to join the troopers, the Space Marines, whatever we are, he's like, yeah, my little brother was just getting old enough to be like interesting, he was like starting to get good at playing spaceball and all that kind of stuff, and I can't, I'm actually really missing him now. I just got like some good letters back from him, and made me really miss the feel like I'm missing out a really good point of my brother's life. So I can't wait to get home and hang out with him again. He's a great kid. He was always really, really smart. He's an amazing artist. He like draws comic books all the time, you know, like just on scraps of paper. My little brother Mike. I think Lionel shows some pictures of his brother Mike, passes around a photograph.
Cool. How about Kaminsky?
Yeah, I think Kaminsky takes the photograph. And he sits in his bunk and smokes a joint, and he says, I remember Spaceballs. That was a cool game. I worked in the arcade back in the days before they introduced the VR helmet and it got bankrupt. And, well, I had nothing, you know, I'm not really what you would call like a working guy kind of guy. Like standing around in the arcade and handing out, you know, quarters to the kids is my kind of work. But when the arcade closed down, I thought shooting aliens is less work than it actually is. And then he passes the photograph further.
Yeah, Rubinov takes it. He stares and he, you know, takes a breath. He says, there's a lot of things that I wanted to get away from. And out here, there is an open frontier that I can get away to. I like it here. I like it a hell of a lot better than I liked Earth. So I'm happy to keep on going and never go back. And he hands it on.
Well, I just always had trouble sitting still, and I thought maybe I could be a commercial rocket pilot, but yeah, I didn't get accepted to that. So I figured the only way to actually travel around as much as I wanted was to join up. So far, so good, I guess.
Yeah, I still haven't made it to any of those beaches that they show in the brochures. I mean, Lieutenant Miter, have you been to any of those beaches? Like the one on that brochure they always pass out? That looks like a really good one.
I actually remember like what all the, was there like a Ocean Beach Planet?
Oh, are you kidding? Here, I still got it. And, like Lionel pulls out this like crumpled up like you know, join the troopers brochure, and it's got like, you know, a beach with palm trees and, you know, these troopers with like their rifles slung over their shoulder, but they're just like kind of strolling, you know, like waving to the, you know, to the locals.
I mean, there was that reef on Coral Island kind of place that the brigade ended up, but that was where those shape-shifting sirens were based, so that didn't turn out well for holiday goers, right? But I think that's about as close as we've come to, you know, a tropical paradise so far.
Remember that, the details of that one. It's been too long. Yeah, nothing that looked like that, especially not when we were done with the place. But
Yeah, so far, bugs and nanite robots. I mean, I don't know. I guess I didn't really think about, I don't know. Maybe I watched too much Star Trek when I was a kid. I guess I figured the aliens would have more to talk to us about. Huh.
yeah, we're not really there to talk to them. In fact, if any of them try to talk to you, if you consult your manual, there's pretty strict regulations about opening communications.
Well, maybe the next mission will be different. You never know. Space is big.
They're all different.
They are all different, but the mission remains the same. Find interesting life. Do not talk to it and wipe it out. Okay, so yeah, I think that's unless someone else wants to butt in with some observation about the brigade and alien life. It's probably a good point to switch to the mission. Okay, yeah, so usual routine. This time you get your 30 seconds of warning. Those klaxons go off, the red lights fill the room, and it's time to get into your crash couches for the return to normal space. And the frigate, slides a lot easier than the carrier through that shift. There's pretty much no bumping. Maybe this crew has got it down a little bit better than the giant crew aboard the Atlas. And you're called into to the briefing. I guess it's just the platoon, right, who are over here. So it's the captain of the Appalachia is a naval officer, Captain Diaz. And he is kind of opening his orders right in front of you. I think the display shows this pretty average kind of temperate mix planet, but he zooms into this gigantic kind of research station. It looks fairly familiar, kind of like a cookie cutter design that you have seen from time to time, and maybe even seen back on Earth. Troopers, this is one of our research centers on this planet of Klimt. They are developing a countermeasure against this alien ooze that we first encountered on Cezanne. So we have a couple of our special studies group people aboard. They're going to go down, compare notes with the scientists down there, and retrieve any test solutions which are worth taking into the field. So yeah, that's pretty simple, but this is pretty important. So hence we're sending down a platoon. Now I think like the display you have is like from the records, and you see like a frizz as it gets updated. Someone obviously forgot to do that, and what you see in live stream from the planet is very different from what the recording is. There's no sunlight hitting the planet. It seems to be all clouds, really dark clouds, and like flickers of lightning running through them. In fact, like from your vantage point, your satellites or whatever aren't even showing up that research station anymore. It's just blanketed in storm clouds. I think one of the junior ratings who's in charge of tech is like tapping the hollow screen or the hollow unit to see if it's a mistake. Is this really on? Is this working? Sorry, sir. There was a slight delay, but it looks like that's what Klimt looks like right now. Lieutenant Miter, I'm not sure what's going on here. My file doesn't say anything about weather patterns. Certainly nothing like this. So I'll leave it to your discretion on how to continue. Whether you want to take down the cities or the special studies group people, I'll leave that up to you. But Command expect us to be back ASAP with these new solutions if they're a runner.
So with these new solutions, if what?
Yeah, so if these new solutions are going to work, they want them back ASAP.
I guess we'll go in and check it out.
Sounds good. Any of your troopers have questions or concerns? Usually, we're not picking up any comms from the station as we would have expected. Maybe this electrical stuff is causing problems. So ask your questions now because we won't be on the line to answer them later.
Is there some way we can? Yeah, let's drop in with the drop pods, and then is there some way we can signal to then bring in the specialists once we've secured the landing site?
Yeah,
I mean, like flares or something, right? We could shoot off a flare. Yeah, we have flares.
Yeah. I mean, usually those are local, but let's say the drop pod has something like a really high burst, buoy that goes up into orbit for retrieval or something like that, right? So you'll be able to get a signal to them, like a come get us signal, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah, I guess there's either a emergency evac signal or a okay, bring in the specialists to help us figure out what the hell's going on here.
Yeah, cool. Any questions from the rest of you? Okay, yeah. So I guess you are you're going to drop down as per normal. So using the drop pods will give you an auto ambush in the first encounter. Yeah, so this is going to be a bit of a rocky ride, with these storms and lightning and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I think it's pretty hairy on the way down. You're instead of diving into the atmosphere, your drop pods just get shot straight out of the frigate, and there's that kind of peaceful few minutes as you go through space, and then you start to feel the atmosphere drag on you. You start to feel the atmosphere start to burn up outside. And then you pass into this really rocky, the worst turbulence you've ever been in, kind of cloud. And then the first lightning, arc of lightning hits you. And the drop pods have kind of protection against this kind of stuff, but it's still, it's pretty scary to get hit by lightning. And then it seems to short out, or maybe it's just an emergency measure on the drop pod. All of the lighting goes off, and then there's a 4 or 5 second reel up for the red emergency lighting to come on, and that's when the aliens start coming in. So they are getting straight through the edge of the drop pod as you kind of blink and the light passes out. They just phase right through the sides of the drop pod. So They are these like tenebrous shadow creatures, right? And they don't really look like anything you recognize. Strangely enough, with the lack of light in here, they're a little bit indistinct, but they're still kind of coming for you. Okay, so you're still getting your ambush, right? So why don't you, Brian, why don't you choose the range for everyone? And then we'll start the combat properly.
Near.
Near, yeah. Everyone's happy with near. And everyone holler what weapon they're having. Or I guess what weapon you're drawing as usual when these things start coming through the sides of the drop pod.
The E cannon.
Okay.
Same.
The rocket pod.
Lennel's gonna take out his flame gun.
Okay. So for an ambush, there's four counters. There's 4 of you, so you're all gonna get kills as per this range with your weapon. So why don't you describe how that goes? We can do it in rank order, and then you can also roll for the number of kills.
Yeah, I mean, I've fully upgraded the E-cannon at this range at this point, so it's not just a big blast; it's just a wide burst blast, and kills 20 aliens.
So obviously, while we've kind of fictionally, right, we've described it as being them coming into the drop pod at you. Maybe that's just a couple, and then sort of when you drive off the first few, you get your proper range out, so that when they're coming at you as you're still hurtling towards the planet, you start to rack up the kills. And okay, Rubinov, what does your kill count and what does your shooting look like?
So Rubinov is at 3d10 with his E-cannon. So I think in the, it is the same weapon. It is a less advanced version of it. And he just, he opens fire, the chamber spins up, you see it start to glow faintly, and then it just expels this burst of energy that lands and then slaughters 26 aliens.
Okay. And let's go Kaminsky.
Kaminsky instinctively grabs the rocket pod, realizes that it's completely useless, and I think he shoots the rocket pod, and the explosion is somewhere, almost outside of where the aliens are, but the explosion kills one, and he uses the what's it called, the repercussion of the weapon to get into the range that he wants to get, which is further away. Like the rocket pod almost catapults him further away.
Okay, I mean, like you at the moment, right? You're inside the drop pod, and in an ambush, usually you don't get to change range, but I guess you'll work at that next round.
Mm-hmm.
And Hudson.
So Hudson is taking out his flame gun for the first time in actual combat, and now a flame gun has a best range is near. It only does, or is close rather, and it only does one at near.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is Lionel, he's like a little too excited, and he just starts, opening up with the flame, and he's just spraying flame everywhere, and fires everywhere, smoke everywhere. He doesn't have the carburetor set quite right, so so there's like all this black smoke billowing out all over the place. That's kind of getting in everybody's way, and people are the other troops are coughing and whatever. And he actually I think the flame for the most part didn't even reach the aliens. It didn't get quite that far, but it created like so much smoke that it actually like suffocated one of the aliens. Just like ends up dying of smoke inhalation and falls over.
Okay, cool. So here is where I tell you what the alien special ability is. So they are going to ignore all those wounds. I'm going to spend a threat token to ignore everything that you just killed, because these aliens are the shadows, and so they're not going to die of smoke inhalation. They're not going to be killed by a shockwave. They're not going to be killed by energy from a cannon. So you're going to discount all the kills you just did, and I'm going to bring back all the threat tokens that were killed in that round. And so I think, as this happens and you slowly realize this, the drop pod like hits the ground, the doors open, and you're now properly at near range and fighting for your lives against these aliens again. Okay, so you're all still at near range. So let's get people's actions. What are you going to do? And the aliens are obviously going to try to kill you. And let me know what the plan is. So let's go in rank order again for intentions.
That's a rough one. I guess we will try that again.
And Rubenov, just keep racking up those kills again.
You said that they're shadows.
Yeah.
I think that Rubenov is going to unhook a flare from his belt and try and throw the flare into their midst.
Okay, cool. So sounds like a non-fighting ability check.
Yeah.
That might get you a +1 next turn. Or unless you want to give it to someone else this turn, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see if I succeed or not.
Okay, cool. Kaminsky.
Kaminsky is too inflexible to come up with a new plan, so he will shoot the rocket pod and try to change the range.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. And Hudson.
Hudson's gonna basically do the same / opposite as Kaminsky. He's gonna fire his flamethrower again, but he's gonna charge forward to get within range, go into close range.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I will roll and.
Oh my God, I succeeded.
Okay, so so the alien got a 5, so they go first. We got a 4 success, 4 success, 2 success, 10 fail. Okay, so yeah, the aliens are going to inflict a kill on each of you. and they are, they're everywhere, right? They're like seeping out of these holes in the ground, and their shape is changing as they move. Like sometimes they seem kind of human, and sometimes they seem, like beasts that you've seen before, on different planets. Some of them kind of almost look spidery for a moment as they scrabble over ground. And like one of the troopers nearby, he's shooting at his own shadow on the ground, and he doesn't notice the real creature come up at him from his six. So yeah, they are really hitting you hard. So yeah, everyone takes a kill. As usual, probably the first kill you take on a planet is worth taking because you heal in between encounters, and the armor is one use only per planet. Okay, so yeah, I guess you want to see Miter go next on the floor.
$27 kills this time. Let's see if they stun.
So how does that look?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you see him, fiddling with a few dials on the side, trying to adjust it, see if he can't figure out how to make it effective against these things. But yeah, mostly just more of the same, firing away.
Okay, and then we have Rubinov. So why don't you describe your flare technique, and then you can decide whether you're giving yourself a +1 next round or someone else.
Yeah. So Rubinov unhooks this flare from his belt. It's attached somewhere on his armor, and he strikes it, and he rolls it underhanded, sort of at the aliens, and it rolls to a stop beneath them. It's a flare, so it's lit up. It's very bright, and it is sort of interacting with them. It's messing with them. It's certainly making them easier to target, because now they have a big flare that you can aim at where they are.
Yeah, and I think probably in that you see like one of them that's like right in front of the aperture, the flare when it first goes off, like the first really intense, it just disappears and doesn't come back. It doesn't like get away. It just like vanishes, as you might expect the shadow to do when there's like full bright light and nothing for it to be a shadow behind. And Lionel, a success with fighting ability.
Yeah. So I think, yeah. Now does so Lionel is still at near range, but then after this attack he'll be at close range? Is that how it works?
Because the alien succeeded and got better than all of you, so the alien is going to be moving you if I reckon that's a good idea.
Oh, okay. So then unless the alien chooses to move me to close, like my attempt to run forward doesn't succeed.
Yeah, so you were firing, right? And you were relying on getting a better success than the alien to get the free move afterwards, right?
Oh, okay. If you get a better success, you get a free move. If I had only moved forward, then I could have.
Yeah. So if you'd roll that and said your action was just to move forward, then you would have succeeded regardless of the alien.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So I imagine what happens is like, Lionel, he's like messing around with making adjustments on his flamethrower, and he like, at some point gets it set to where it's like it's actually like a little bit brighter, and it's like maybe it's like actually a little bit more successful because it's not so much burning the aliens, but just like the light from the flame is having an effect with the shadows.
Okay. So and Kaminsky,
and so at this range, I only do one kill.
Yeah, one kill. Yeah, and Kaminsky, that's a fail, but you get to describe your color.
Yeah, I think the failure is that as Kaminsky tries to jump up and use the rocket launcher to propel him backwards, he completely misaligns the shot, and maybe get lands on his knees and has to get up and aim again.
Yeah. Okay, and for that, the aliens are dragging you all into close range. Which will make Hudson happy, I guess, but not anyone else. Okay, so yeah, next round, the alien's gonna try to kill you. Let's go around again with intent. Brian.
Well, it seemed to have worked better that time, so let's keep firing.
And Rubinov, I think you'll have +1 on your weapons check if you want it this turn, unless you want to give that to someone else.
I'll pass that off to Hudson, actually.
Cool. Okay. And are you? I can't remember. Your E-cannon, is that effective at close range, or okay? It does 0 damage, so it won't do anything. But if you succeed, you'll be able to and beat the aliens. You'll be able to push yourself out, or you could try to go out by yourself, or you could try to switch weapons.
Yeah, I am going to fire the cannon.
Okay.
And
when I say try to switch weapons, obviously you can switch to grenades or hand-to-hand for free right now, and just use those instead if you wanted to. If Lieutenant Miter hasn't confiscated everyone's grenades in the meantime. So you're going to use the E-cannon. Okay, so it'll be ineffective, but you'll be able to get out to range if you roll well enough. Okay, Kaminsky.
Yeah, Kaminsky wants desperately to throw a grenade, but a side glance to Terry convinces him to not do that, and instead he uses the rocket pod as a club, so it's hand to hand.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that, if I recall correctly. Okay, and Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson's pretty excited. He's kind of rushing in, and as Rubinoff said, Hudson's like taking advantage of this, like, I think the insight from the flare, and he's like, oh yeah, if I crank up the like brightness as much as possible, I can do some damage to these guys. So that's what Hudson's doing.
So we just remember that you're rolling with an effective fighting ability of 1 higher than usual.
I guess I could modify it.
You can, if you go into the, but it's a one-off, so you have to change it.
Yeah, I'll put it back.
Okay. Okay, so I think that's everyone. I think the aliens are going to try to kill you all as usual. Surprise, surprise. On the money. So we have okay, so this is interesting. We have aliens roll their best success on a 7, but Kaminsky beats them. So Kaminsky, what are you up to?
But I failed, didn't I?
I see an 8 for you.
Oh, okay.
Am I looking at?
Oh no, I was
Yeah.
looking at Hudson. Oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so you definitely see Kaminsky doing like a whirlwind attack with so he's spinning around, which is much more action than suits his character normally, and obliterates one of the aliens.
Are you doing D6 or D10 in hand to hand? I think. Do you have that improved?
Oh yeah, D10.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So you're a bit of a killing machine in close combat now.
Maybe I should stay there.
5. Okay. Okay. And the alien goes on a 7, as does Rubinov. So the aliens kill everyone else, but not Kaminsky. Yeah, and I think they've kind of fled from the flare and from the kind of the burgeoning light from Hudson's flamer. But they're like using that light that's shining on the kind of geography nearby to kind of form new strengths in those shadowy areas. And they're coming around and again, like slipping up from behind people, really using everything that your Mandelbrite armor that is usually protective, all of the blind spots, all of the all of the downsides to get in close to hit you. And it hits you really doesn't hit hard, but you get an instant feeling of cold, right, where they hit you. You feel like a lancing pain in your limbs or in your body, something that feels like you've been knocked for 6 by the common cold, something more like pneumonia maybe. So yeah, everyone except Kaminsky takes a kill. Rubinov, you get to do your best.
Yeah. So Rubinov, can I move back if I tied, or is it above?
It's only if you're above.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rubinov gets a success, but it does not actually do anything. So I think he, I think he probably hits not the aliens. He fires it, like the energy overshoots it because it is charged up to such an extent that it just sort of sails past them instead of actually making contact.
Yeah, I'm just double checking this. It's if you could succeed before your opponent, then you get to change your range by 1 step at the end of the turn. Yeah, so that would mean that the alien wouldn't be shoving you anywhere either, which I guess is one thing. Okay, and then I think we've got Hudson on a 9 and Miter on an 8, which is so yeah, let's go with Miter first.
Yeah, what happened? I think even though I think maybe some of the adjustments he's done to try to make it more effective, it's now slipped. The focus is slipped so that it's no longer for that round. It wasn't effective at this closer range. It's not really, an E-Cane is not really meant to be used at close range, and he had it all fine tuned so that it was, but then all this messing with it has then thrown that off.
Okay, and Hudson.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Hudson, he like he was like messing with the settings too much, and it just like it like I think he just like shorted it, and it just kind of like it just like the pilot light went out, and he's like, ah, damn it, and he's like hitting it, trying to get it to work again. He's like, got to learn these controls better.
Okay, so yeah, took care of one threat token. There's one threat token left in the encounter.
So I just want to clarify again. So we all took a kill, right? Because they succeeded, and then so Rubinov or no, Kaminsky was able to move back because he tied the aliens. So like on a tie, you get a free move as well.
No, Kaminsky beat the aliens. He rolled an 8, which was higher than the aliens 7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he got to do his kill and then retreat, and he also avoided taking a kill for that as well. So,
okay. It's only if you roll less than the aliens. If you roll above the aliens, you don't take a kill. Cool. Okay.
If you roll a success and above the aliens, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, next round. Miter, what's Lieutenant doing?
Let's shoot these aliens. Let's finish them off.
Okay, and Rubinov, are you switching to hand or grenades, or
I think
what's the plan?
Will let a grenade go.
I think I'll go ahead and switch to hand-to-hand, actually, since my gun's not working.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you're glad you got out of there, Kaminsky. What's
I
am. So you're you're in hand-to-hand still, right? Unless you want to switch to grenades.
I mean, oh, interesting. I thought that it's like rocket pod is the weapon that I equipped, and then I can do hand-to-hand at close by.
Okay, so I guess flavor-wise, right? When you go to hand-to-hand, you can hit them with anything, but you have switched weapons.
Okay.
Right? So if you wanted to, you can stay in. If you didn't realize that was the case, you could stay in close.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'd rather be in the vicinity of Rubinov's grenades.
Okay, so drag yourself back in, and you're still doing hand-to-hand?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson's like he's gonna get those settings right, and he's gonna lay into him with his flame gun. This is it.
Okay, cool.
He's gonna show him what's up.
So I guess we're all just to remind everyone on the rule to grenades, remind myself, grenades do a kill to any PC at close range who fail their die roll this combat round. Okay, so and obviously on a Rubinov success, they will kill aliens, and if Rubinov fails, he'll kill himself and anyone else who fails. That has never happened before. Okay, so the aliens are trying to kill you, and they get a 6. These aliens are rolling well.
I'm taking my combat drugs.
Okay, take the combat drugs, avoid getting killed by a grenade, and don't roll a 10 again, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna take combat drugs as well.
Okay, so we have the aliens with a 6. Miter, we rolled a 4. Hudson, we rolled a 7, which is a fail. Kaminsky rolled a 6. and Rubenov rolled a 7. So yeah, Rubenov, you got to go first.
Yeah, so Rubenov, pulls a grenade off of whatever grenade belt he has, and he lobs it at a bug. And I think these grenades probably have some like adhesive on them or something. I think it sticks to the alien in such a way that it, hopefully that it will not murder his companions, except maybe Hudson. Yeah. So he gets the grenade on it, and the grenade blows.
Okay, so roll your kills, and Hudson, you're taking a kill as well.
So that's 3 down.
Hudson's going to use his armor to ward off the shrapnel from the.
Okay. And that was the last threat token in the encounter, so that's it. I think so they you've killed them, and maybe that explosion either has killed them all, or the rest of them just kind of drift off into the distance or just disappear into the ground. What does this look from Miter and Kaminsky's point of view?
So do we roll kills as well?
No, because as soon as the last token is
Okay.
removed, that's it.
So I think that before Kaminsky even realizes that all the ghosts are disappeared, he's still throwing his rocket pod around, and then blinks and looks around and sees that they are all gone.
Yeah, I don't think Miter even saw the kills because he was too busy just diving for cover to avoid getting blasted by grenades. So he was probably just shouting to everyone, "Get down."
Okay, and for Hudson, obviously the armor is doing its job protecting you from the blast of Rubenov's grenade. What does that look like, or do you say anything to him?
I think I think Hudson was like so busy trying to get his flame gun unjammed and reset that he just like the shrapnel, he just like took it full in the armor, and it's just like his armor saved him, but his armor is just in tatters now from he's like pulling shrapnel out, and bits of armor are like coming off with the shrapnel as he pulls it off. Thanks, Corporal. Thanks for taking out the alien.
Thanks, but no thanks for more grenades, though. I think with that kind of battle dies down, there's still this like thunderous electrical storm overhead that is kind of lighting up the whole terrain every so often, and you can kind of see in the distance that research center. It looks like a bit of a hike, but you can get there easily enough. So that's the end of the encounter. Everyone gets to heal 1 level of harm. And I think maybe there might be some talking before we get to the next encounter. Is the griping going to start at the bottom and move its way up, or is Miter taking a steering hand on things?
Lionel's looking pretty beat up. Lionel was. It's pretty clear that Lionel was that close to dying, even with the shrapnel from the grenade. Like another blow from the aliens would have been Lionel's last breath. So he was so frustrated with how that flamethrower went, that the flame gun, that I think he's decided to put it away and go back to his energy rifle and his camera. I think he's actually thinking, you know, maybe I do better just scouting with my camera. I think I thought this flame gun was going to turn things around for me, and I was going to finally become this awesome, kick-ass Rambo. But maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe the flame gun's not the weapon that's going to turn me around.
How about Kaminsky? Is he trusting to his rocket pod still, or is he coming around in that too?
I mean, Kaminsky will be a bit down because you know, he didn't get the most kills, and he's like the schoolboy on a school trip, is always in the back and really tired, and maybe like dragging the rocket pod behind him. But if Rubinov is next to him, he will say, "Hey, Corporal, you do know that Terry hates grenades."
Yeah, the only thing Terry hates more than grenades is having to take his combat drugs.
You're muted, Josh.
Yeah, Rubinov scowls. He goes, "Well, I'm sure that Terry hates being eaten alive by aliens too."
I'm not sure. I mean, you always killed Lionel. Not that it is like a terrible loss for the company, but like on a human level.
A firm breeze could kill Lionel. All right, Trooper, don't argue with me.
Just a suggestion, Corporal. I mean, just get out of my way next time. You know, throw the grenades where I'm not in the vicinity.
Rubinov looks at Kaminsky. He goes, "Are you issuing an order to me, Trooper?"
I think I explicitly said suggestion.
Remember what your position is in this regiment.
And Kaminsky looks at his stripes. I don't know, and looks at yours. I don't see the real difference. Like, is it one of these things?
It's probably a couple more stripes, maybe a little star.
Oh yeah, I forgot the star. I'm sorry, Corporal.
I think Lieutenant Miter has finished like dry heaving and has walked over and takes a deep breath. You know, Kaminsky, as usual, you need more exercise. I think you need to carry the corporal's grenades for him.
Yes, sir. I would ask if we can do the kung fu again. That was fun. So.
Yeah, not now. Maybe later. He walks off to dry heave some more.
And Kaminsky grabs the grenades and sighs.
Rubinov hands them over. He is not happy.
No, he isn't.
So I think, Josh, if you want to have grenades next time you need them, you can make like an NFA check to have, you know, sequestered one where Kaminsky hasn't taken them. But otherwise, you know, if we describe a dead trooper, you know, you can pick up grenades from them when no one's looking without too much hassle, I think. Okay, so yeah, I think you get to the research center. It's all dark, right? Like it looks like even the emergency supply that would usually kind of power doorways and that kind of stuff for emergencies is down. So like the control panel is totally dead. So yeah, it's a bit of trouble to get into, but nothing. You have the tools to do that without firing a rocket at it. So it just takes a little bit of time. I think inside that, when you open those doors, you kind of see this desolate, but obviously has been in a bit of a fight corridor opening up into the main area. And one of the things that you notice, like as soon as you kind of step inside, is that there's a kind of a thin film of dust all over, and it's definitely the exact same dust that you saw, with those nanobots. It's that kind of, whenever you saw them being destroyed, you saw this nano dust being left behind on Goya from those artificial replicator style life forms. So given that this corridor is kind of dark, I think this is where we have our next encounter. Roll NFA if you want for dominance.
I'm not rolling.
Okay, so that's a turnip. Walter Hudson fails in his dominance check, which is not the way it usually goes. So the aliens got a success. You got successes. Highest success on your side is from Lieutenant Miter, so you get to set the range for everyone. Let me put out some threat tokens.
Do we have to decide the weapons before we set the range?
Yeah. So I'd asked you before, right? But I assume you were switching if you wanted to. But sorry, I should have asked before we rolled.
Nah, let's stick with a rocket port. That's always fun.
Okay, so you're all at near. Okay. Okay, so you have three tokens in this encounter. So yeah, it's intentions first. The aliens are going to be killing you as usual.
As they do.
Rubinov and Miter are in their sweet spot, so I presume this is E-cannon-tastic. Kaminsky, are you opening fire as well?
Yeah, opening fire, but with the main purpose of getting away from the aliens.
Yeah. And Hudson?
So Hudson's going back to his kind of previous style of fighting. He had his E-cannon or E-rifle ready, and he had his camera kind of mounted on it as usual. And I think this time he's got the the floodlights kind of that he has specially mounted for his camera, and he's got those turned on, and he's trying to use the photographic floodlights from his video camera to try and follow these shadows around.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do an NFA roll to try and mess with the shadows using lighting.
Okay, so I guess we could say this is kind of the same as the flare. So unless you want to get something a bit more concrete out of it, so like building up a +1 for someone to use.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. And maybe you might be able to build something more concrete on it if this works out for you. Okay, so yeah, aliens gonna try to kill you all, or not. A 9. Okay, so aliens failed. We got a 2 from Miter. We got a 4 from Rubinov, and we have 2 fails from the others. Okay, so Rubinov, you get to go first.
Yeah, so Rubinov fires off a blast. He knocks out 13 of them with the resultant energy. He's very firmly standing his ground, I think, right now. He does not want to get closed in. He does not want to get tossed into close range where he will be disciplined again.
Okay, and sorry, what did I say? Miter on your 2. Roll kills and describe the carnage.
55. So I think Lieutenant Niter was. We've seen this actually before, where Rubinov and Miter with their 2 e-cannons. Where Rubinov is fired first, and the lieutenant is kind of experienced, and so he kind of waits to see how that drives the aliens in a certain direction, so that he can then catch them in the crossfire.
Okay, and 55 is a lot of shadow creatures. And then, I think those aliens that are coming out, I think maybe the fire from Rubinov is obviously destroying a few of them, but it's kind of fixing them in place, and maybe at this perfect range for the E-cannon, that light is kind of driving them into a killing cone for Miter. Aliens not killing anyone, obviously, with their fail. So let's hear from Kaminsky.
I mean, we are in the corridor, so shooting a rocket pod is a stupid idea to begin with. And I think that the rocket just flies through the whole corridor and explodes at the far end, killing no one.
Okay. And Hudson.
Hudson's having a really rough day. I think Hudson's like just having. I think just like the big blast from Lieutenant's E-cannon and all these shadows just getting decimated by that, and and Corporal Rubinov also. It's just like I think Lionel ends up getting distracted. He's just catching it all on film. He's like, "This is amazing," and I think he just forgets to do his own thing. He's like so busy capturing the carnage of Rubinov and Miter. After the battle, he's like showing the replay video to Miter and Rubinov, but we're not there yet. That will come.
Not quite. Okay, cool. So one threat token left in the encounter, and we will go around again. I presume it's going to be rinse and repeat for Miter and Rubinov. Yeah. Kaminsky. Sorry, before we start, Miter and Rubinov get to change range if they wanted to, but I presume you're not going to. You're in the perfect range as it is. Okay. So Kaminsky.
Rinse and repeat for me.
Okay. And Hudson.
There's not many left, so Hudson's just going to open up with his E-rifle and see if he can see what he can do to help.
Okay, so let's roll.
Or if I do have a question actually. If I was to like do some kind of NFA thing to get a bonus this combat, would that normally roll over to like?
Yeah, usually we'll keep it till the next one, right?
Oh, okay. Wait, usually we do?
Yeah, in previous ones we've if you're gaining some kind of intelligence, maybe it's not situated.
Okay, then maybe I'll do that then instead. I guess that makes sense to do that. I was going to fire because I didn't think it would matter much else. Okay, yeah, so I'll do it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a lot of the rolling is pretty poor. A lot of successes, but very low numbers. So the aliens roll a 3. Miter rolls a 1. Rubinov rolls a 2. Kaminsky gets a 3, and so does Hudson. Okay, so okay, so yeah, why don't we start with Hudson's description, given that's NFA, and then I'll cut in with the alien, and then we'll go to Kaminsky.
Yeah, so I think Hudson sees like finally getting his getting the floodlights for his camera set up, and he's able to use it to kind of like corral the aliens and keep them from like being as mobile as they might be, so that they're like locked in the kill zone for other people.
Cool. Yeah. So I think yeah, there's a big kind of lightning strike right at the moment where people start to open up, and it creates this kind of almost like lighting interference in here, like everyone's kind of vision slots kind of dampen the light to protect your eyesight, and kind of in the resultant kind of fade, these shadows come out of vents and everything like that, left and right in the corridor, and hit you with that cold snap again. So everyone takes kills, and then I think Kaminsky finishes them off.
Yeah, you will have to help me out, because I kill one with a lone rocket pod, and I'm not sure if they have some kind of hierarchical structure that killing one has an effect on the rest.
No, but again, you can describe it maybe being a particularly bright explosion that drives them off. Something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah. I think that the rocket that is launched is it's relatively straight through the corridor, hits the ghosts where Hudson have corralled them, and in the bright flash of the explosion, they somehow cease to exist.
Okay, cool. So then I think we can get some color from the other two. So Rubinov and then Miter. Josh, you want to add something first? Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm just trying to work through the macro.
Oh, so you're not doing kills because there's no more. So Kaminsky removed the last.
Correct.
So you're just describing maybe your fire helps drive them off or something like that.
Yeah, I think probably they're as they get driven off. Rubinov's energy cannon fires another thing. It scolds the ground behind them, and sort of like chars it as they run away.
Cool. And from Miter.
I don't know. I can't think of anything interesting to add.
Okay, so yeah, I think with this kind of wave of those shadow beasts driven off, you kind of have the research center to yourselves, and you quarter up into squads and kind of see if you can secure it. There's a bunch of power generators there that kind of look on their last legs. Not quite that they were. I think what's happened is that the electrical storms and some other factors that you're not aware of have really just fried them. So that means getting power back up in here is going to be difficult. But yeah, there looks like there's no one left here. But I think you get to hook up. Someone hooks up a data pad to to the control panel in control room, and you find some kind of power source that is still going inside the facility. So yeah, we'll take a break here for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back for a pair of survivors. Okay, so it's 25 past now, so 25 to the hour. We'll come back at. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, so as we described there, we have a situation where there's something showing up on your scanners for the whole facility. So there's some power source still active somewhere in some storeroom or something. So that will obviously indicate to the presence of some survivors. So yeah, we're talking about some kind of rescue mission. There's no comm, so it's not like you can talk to them, but yeah, certainly you're gonna have to go there to get a hold of them. And if they'll know something about the super secret project that was going on here too, to as a bonus. So yeah, what's the plan?
So where do we have to go?
So yeah, in the facility, there's some room, some probably storeroom in one of the wings where you're seeing like an active power source show up on your scan. So you gotta go there and rescue whoever is holding up there from the shadow beasts.
I see. Okay. Did we have a map of this facility in advance of coming here, or?
Yeah, I'd say that would be. I mean, it's a standard design, like I said. So maybe
Okay.
you have one of those, and maybe some of the functions are going to be kind of generic or a little bit mislabeled. But basically, yeah, you know exactly where you'll go in one of these facilities.
Okay, then I guess we just plan out our approach, and then move out.
Okay, so I don't think it takes long before these shadow beasts that you drove away in the last encounter start to come back at you. So, does anyone want to not roll for the engagement?
Kaminsky's not rolling.
Okay. Everyone else, or yeah, okay. So let's try some alien dominance. Okay, that is good rolling. Yeah, 3 successes. The aliens got a success too, so no ambush. But we have a high roller, Hudson, back to his old ways with a success. So you get to set range.
Okay. So is it?
You're setting the range for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like near range is generally the best for everybody. Is that right? There's nobody.
I mean, generally best for everyone.
I mean, I guess Kaminsky does better at far range.
Yeah.
But Kaminsky's taking the slug rifle, so near is perfect.
Okay. Then near it is.
Okay. And you've switched to the slug rifle too, right?
Or the E rifle, yeah.
Yeah, the E rifle. Sorry, yeah. Back to the traditional weapons. These these special weapons like the rocket pod and the flamer have their uses, but I guess the way to look at it is the aliens can only screw one of you up by putting you at close or far range, right? But okay, so yeah, is everyone opening fire, or is anyone playing coy, doing something smart? You remember from last round, Hudson, you got a +1 from your camera.
Okay, yeah, so I can
reading.
So, yeah, so what can I do with that? Can I give that to somebody else then?
You could give it to someone else. You could give it to yourself, or yeah. Those are.
I'm thinking I'll give the +1 to somebody else, and I'll do the same thing I did last time. I'll just like keep playing around with the lights and see if I can get another +1.
Cool. Yeah. So okay. Who's going to get that +1?
I'm gonna give it to Lieutenant Miter, because it's such an impressive use of that E-cannon. Let's see what he can do.
I mean, he needs help to get his kill total up high. I think he's like orders of magnitude ahead of everyone at this stage. Okay, cool. So yeah, I guess everyone roll. Aliens trying to kill you as usual.
Oh, did we heal between?
Yeah. Sorry, you heal 1 level in between encounters, and so that goes for everyone. You'll have healed 1 since the last time. So aliens got a 4. Might have got a 2. Kaminsky rolled a 9. Unfortunately, Hudson got a 3. Good success, and Rubinov got 1. So aliens go first with a 4. Am I right? Yeah. Shocking. And they'll be killing everyone. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's pretty much the same as before. I think this time, though, the form that these aliens are taking is something that you kind of recognize from previous encounters. Like they are taking forms that you like directly remember from those replicator guys, the nanobots, and so they are doing that kind of mixture between snakes and spiders and everything like that to try to kind of swarm ye and get through the vents to Sarangi. So yeah, everyone take a kill. And then we have Hudson. You get to go first.
Okay. Yeah. So Hudson, he's like got his camera going, and I think he's like even figured out like now how to get his high contrast filters on so that he can really see the highlight the outlines of the shadows much more effectively as the lighting changes. And so he's gotten pretty good at like corralling them with his flood lighting now.
Okay, cool. And then we have Miter with a 2.
Ridiculous. So yeah, I guess taking advantage of the corralling and trying to blast through concentrated groups of them.
Okay, and Rubinov with the 1.
Yeah, so I think the the first wave of aliens sort of evaporates with the energy blast from Miter. And then Rubenov's ball of energy lands a few seconds after and knocks out, the aliens that had just like refilled the throng.
Okay, and Kaminsky.
I think Kaminsky is completely surprised by the spiders and snakes coming out of the vents, and he just shoots in the ceiling, hitting no one.
Okay, I'm going to spend a threat token to use the alien special ability, and I'm going to negate all those kills. So yeah, these I think these shadows have figured out something about the wavelength of these e-cannons, right? You're punching through them, but they're just absorbing all that energy, and you're just casting bigger shadows for them to come back at you. So yeah, we're back to 5 threat tokens. So whenever you guys want to use a strength to get out of jail, as before, you can just see what the roll does before you decide. You can decide to do that at any point.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I guess we'll see what the dice say first.
Okay, yeah. So what's everyone doing first? I presume keep shooting. Hudson?
Yeah, Lionel's gonna keep using the lighting.
Okay. And you're giving someone a +1 on the roll?
Yeah, this time I'll give Rubenov a +1.
Okay. So yeah, alien's trying to kill you again. Okay, they got a 2, which is a success, just not a great one. Rubenov hits a 7. Hudson, you get a 7. Kaminsky gets a 3. And so we have Miter failing.
I guess I'll go ahead and use a strength.
Okay, so why don't you describe the flashback, and then you can give it a name, and then you can tell us how you wipe these aliens out.
Let's see. I've got the name. Now I need to. What's the flashback?
What name are you going with? What name are you going with?
The name is Fight Smarter, Not Harder. I think what would it be? Yeah, maybe there was a back in training. There was kind of like a laser tag war games going on, and Terry figured out how to just yeah, just send a signal to the little device on the other team that registers if it's been hit with the laser. And he just figured out how to send a signal to it to just like he just broadcast like you've been killed. With like
a Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah. And and in the present we see him, he's been messing with the settings on his gun this whole time, and finally sets it to dump almost all of the energy that would be into this explosive blast into just producing this bright flash of light. It's like instead of just all the energy goes out in completely different frequencies than normally, and he's able to just blast them away. And I think maybe the fact that he just killed a bunch of them and then like they're reforming, and that's why they were like vulnerable to this. So it's not necessarily like you could just do this at any time, but they were set up for it. And just in a flash, he wipes them all out.
So when you roll your kills, and then I'll get rid of all those tokens. Oh, 39. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that that kind of respect E-Cannon to kind of a broad spectrum flashlight effect rather than something that might actually kill something physical does the trick, right? And clears the corridor and probably seeps into a lot of the venting and such nearby, and clears a lot of them. Okay, so yeah, I think you reach that room, and you find like two pretty scared looking technical people. There's like there's a woman who's like a proper doctor at the facility, and then there's a younger man who's a lab tech, and they have like a Jenny sitting in the middle of the room, and they have like some of the outdoor spotlights that you might usually use to do some repair work or whatever, just like shining non-stop in the middle of the room, and then just like sitting in the middle of those with some ration packs and some bottles of water. It looks like they've been here quite a while. Sounds like the Jenny might be on its last legs. I think they're happy to see you. Yeah, that's, I guess, how you put it. It's like, holy cow. We've been expecting you for quite a while. So yeah, I think they kind of give you a rundown of what's happened, but mostly they just want to eat some of your trooper ready meals, which is the first time I think you've seen anyone eager to eat those things. So the doctor's name is Melanie Otakaya, and she says, they had some pretty good results on these testing solutions to basically destroy the ooze. They have like a technical name for it, right? But they're just calling it the ooze. And then there was a big experiment going on with like a live test against some ooze that they had kind of cultured in the lab, and then this kind of once in a century electrical storm hit, shorted everything and messed stuff up. And they're pretty sure that like all of the people who were nearby, any of the lab specimens got turned into the shadow creatures as a result of that experiment going haywire. But in resolute optimism of a scientist, she is sure that the solution they had will do the trick against the ooze and any kind of ooze infected people or things, and just avoid lightning storms. That's that's the way forward, obviously.
Well, is there anything we need to get out of this facility other than you all?
Yeah, I think they want to maybe get some like the data, right? And maybe some samples. But like, if they can go back to the lab, they might be able to. Certainly, they'll be able to retrieve the data. Probably you left some guys behind at the control center. They're probably doing that anyway, as per orders. But with these pair involved, that might be a little bit easier to do.
Yeah, let's get him there.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I think you seem to have driven these things away, and they're a little bit jittery. I think everyone in the platoon has gotten to like turn up their headlamps, which are usually not very well used. Certainly not when you're firing or when you're in combat with an enemy who can shoot back. But right now, those big twin headlamps are really useful. So yeah, you gather their stuff together, and then I think the lab tech, who's like the young guy called Campbell. So how are we getting off this rock? You got a dropship parked outside, or what's the deal?
Yeah, when we're ready to go, we'll signal for pickup.
Okay. You should probably signal now. This isn't going to take long. Right? I don't want to be left waiting here.
Once we signal we're ready to go, we need to be ready to go.
Okay. So I think maybe Hudson is back helping with the techie stuff, right? With dumping all the data onto a whatever big flash drive they have, and the doctor is kind of giving you some instructions. Kind of wondering how you got through all those things. Like they only, she says they only survived because they were looking at some. They're doing a control test nearby outside, so that's why they didn't get hit in the initial splurge.
Wow, and it's amazing that you were able to set up that lighting to keep the shadows at bay.
It was there, right? It was just a storage room for some of our outside equipment. So yeah, we kind of worked fast to link it all up. So yeah, I guess we got lucky.
Well, you're safe now. We'll get you out of here.
Okay. So, so yeah, I think the last sample and the last data is on that drive, so you're good to go. So what is the plan to get out of here? Is it a get to the drop pod, set off that orbital signal buoy, and then wait there for the pickup?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
Okay, so I think we have like a running battle as you exit the facility. You're back, basically retreading the same ground that you came in on, and there's the last few shadows who are nearby start to seep out of cracks in the ground to chase you. So let's just double check weaponry for this before we roll the engagement. What's everyone using?
Rocket pod.
E-cannon.
Okay.
Hudson's got his E-cannon in hand, but he's going to be playing around with the lighting again. That's his.
Okay. His energy rifle. Yeah.
Yeah, his energy rifle. Yeah.
Okay. And Miter with the E-cannon, I presume, again. Okay. Cool. So everyone who wants to roll non-fighting ability for the engagement, go ahead. So are we waiting on you, Brian, or did you already roll and I missed it?
I rolled.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you did. Sorry, you were just ahead of me. I thought I rolled first. Okay, and we have Hudson. Okay, so yeah, I think you're saving their ass with that success from Miter with a 2. Otherwise, it would have been an ambush. As it is, these aliens are going to catch you in close. And they're going to start killing you. Everyone happy with that plan? Are you going to shoot back or doing something different?
Yeah, I'll shoot back.
Okay, Kaminsky, you're in your rocket pod.
Yeah, I think I switched to hand.
Okay, yeah, cool. And how about Hudson?
Hudson's going to stick up there close, and he's going to focus on the lighting, see if he can help out his teammates.
Cool. Okay, so let's.
I'm also going to use hand-to-hand.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Miter, are you sticking with your E-cannon to do a kill? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So aliens. No, a 10. So everyone's gonna have your way with the aliens, or not, or not. Do we have any successes? Oh, we do. Kaminsky. Everyone failed, except for Kaminsky. So, unless anyone wants to use combat drugs, to re-roll. No. Okay. So Kaminsky, you get to roll kills, which I guess is, yeah, D10. Okay, 2. So why don't you describe that? And you can change range if you want to.
So it's definitely probably we see some of the tricks that Terry taught Kaminsky in the last session. So it's less caveman hitting shadows with rocket port and more kicks and so forth. It's just less effective, obviously. It's just the 2 kills.
And then I guess we have Miter next. No kills, but do your description.
Yeah, I mean, he's totally not expecting to be at close range. So yeah, his E-cannons, the configuration is completely like the opposite of what he needs it to be right now. So he's just like frantically trying to adjust, and yeah, was not able to get off any successful shots because of it.
Okay, and Hudson.
Yeah, I think Hudson's just like overwhelmed by how many there are and how close the range is, and he's just like fumbling around with all of his gear as usual.
And Rubinov.
Yeah, I think Rubinov also. He is swinging, but I think nothing is close enough for him to actually get a decent, gun jammed into an alien's face. So he doesn't do much of anything.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and I think the aliens are maybe they're maybe they're being cautious, right? They see these 2 great E-cannons being pointed at them, and they've learned from before, so maybe they're hiding in the shadows a little bit more than they have until now. Yeah, okay. Horst, you can have Kaminsky change range if you wanted to.
I think Kaminsky, unless I see anyone grabbing the grenades, he's staying in the close.
Okay, so yeah, next round. Everyone doing the same thing, or what's the plan?
Yeah, Lionel does the same.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's roll to kill. That's much better all around. We have everyone succeeds. So we have Kaminsky going first. Sorry, we have Kaminsky going first, and then we can do Hudson also on a 7.
I was rolling a D0. That doesn't help.
Did you get a 0 in that?
I did.
Okay.
Let's try again. It's 7 kills. So yeah, it's. I wouldn't say it looks like a Bruce Lee movie, but it does look as if Kaminsky had actually learned to apply the kicks in a more efficient way. So some kind of round kicks that do connect.
Okay. And Rubinov on a 5.
Yeah, I think Rubinov he's still holding his e-cannon. I think he just sort of, bashes an alien with it. It explodes in a goo of some viscous fluid. And he is going to back up if he has the ability to do that. Yes, because you rolled above.
Yeah. So
Rubinov
you're doing hand to hand now. So when you get out into near range, you'll have to either use grenades or swap weapons as your next action.
All right.
And you. So is your kill in hand to hand 1 or is it?
It is 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And then when the aliens go on a 4. So yeah, they inflict kills on just Miter. For rolling lower than them. So yeah, I think as the great shadow killer, they are maybe concentrating on you, right? They're slipping in, and one of them kind of smashes into the gun to try to get it out of the way, and another smashes into the headlamps to try to break them. And then more come in to kind of start to slice into you with their cold tendril hands. So take a kill, and then you can return the favor.
I guess the one he manages to blast is the one that's actually like sacrificed itself to jump on his e-cannon.
Yeah.
Yep.
So roll kills. Sorry, it's just 1, right? At
Just
close
1.
range. Okay. Okay, and I am going to spend a threat token to negate all those kills because I hate freedom. So you still get Walter Hudson's NFA is still unaffected, so you're giving like a +1 to someone anyway for this round, unless you want to keep it for yourself.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, who do you want to give that to?
I'll give it to Kaminsky this time. Yeah, see, now that he's got his kung fu action down, get some shadow dancing, shadow boxing. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't at all look like a disco light affair with him throwing shapes on the dance floor.
Yeah,
Definitely
I think Hudson has figured out that like strobe lights is the thing that really throws them off. So there's this like crazy strobe lighting effect, and we like see each other kind of like freeze framing as we're moving through the lights and shadows.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And so you're taking the same action this turn?
Hudson is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Miter rinsing and repeating, or what's the plan? What kind of the victory if we get Lieutenant Miter to take a grenade himself? Never gonna happen. So sticking with the cannon for you and Rubinov then? Or sorry, Rubinov, you're sticking with hand to hand? Or
Rubinov,
sorry, you can't.
You're change back.
Change back to the cannon? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's an NFA check. And Kaminsky, keeping with the Kung Fu fighting?
Yes, more Kung Fu.
Okay, and you get a +1 bonus from Hudson.
Yeah, and actually, I think this time Hudson's just going to open up with his E rifle.
Okay.
So he'll pass off the last bonus, but this time he'll just fire.
Okay, cool. So aliens attacking. Okay, well, there you go. There's their 8, so they missed. Okay, yeah. Good rolling. So do we have all? No, not quite all successes. But the aliens didn't succeed, so they're not killing anyone. So let's start with Miter on his 7.
Yeah, so they all jumped me around before, and I guess I managed to blast the one off my gun, and then do some kind of dive roll, and then running away and firing back behind me. And I'll move to near, and in all that managed to kill one more.
Okay. And then we have Rubinov on a 4.
Yes. So Rubinov switches his weapon over. He pulls his cannon back up and he primes it to fire.
Cool. And Kaminsky?
Kaminsky gets 6 kills, so gets more of the shadow boxing with some Tai Chi sprinkled in.
Okay, and that's it, I think, from the successes. So yeah, we have Hudson shooting his gun, but to little effect. He's much better when he is shooting the camera, obviously.
Yeah. Hudson's like spraying his e-rifle every which way.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so you've changed range for Miter, and we have Hudson and Kaminsky at close range. Okay, so I obviously don't need to ask what Miter and Rubinov are doing. They're powering up the E-cannons for some effective fire. How about Kaminsky? Still punching?
Doing Kung Fu, yeah.
Okay. And Hudson?
Let's see. This time, Hudson's going to move to near range.
Okay. So everyone roll. The aliens get a 6. Okay. So we got a high roll from Rubinov with a 7. So you get to go first.
Yep. So Rubinov, he has primed his gun. He pulls up the nozzle. He pulls up the barrel, and he lets loose a ball of energy, which explodes. It vaporizes 14 of them. And he, you see him like buck a little bit under the weight. And he is pleased that he is no longer in close range, trying to bash him in with a heavy stick.
Yeah. The aliens and Miter are going on 6, so the aliens kill everyone except Rubinov. I think that's right.
I'll use the armor.
Okay. Yeah, and I think as
we got to heal between the. Did we? Because this is the first damage we take this time, right? I don't think I healed during our last rest.
I think this is the first damage you've taken.
Yeah. Okay.
This encounter, okay. Yeah, so you should have healed 1.
All right. So yeah.
Okay.
So I'll say I healed 1. That sounds right.
Yeah. So I think you're really close to the to the drop pods, and I think someone has charged ahead to release the signal buoy, and just like as they pull that lever, more of these shadow creatures come from underneath the kind of landing impact zone of the drop pods, and start to lay into everyone except Rubinov, inflicting harm. Okay, and then we have Miter. So that is the final threat token on the planet.
It's ridiculous how many times Terry Miter has gotten the last kill on a mission.
Not quite every time, but all but one.
Like half. I think pretty much half of the time Terry Miter has gotten the last kill.
Yeah.
More than his fair share.
More than his fair share, yeah. So, so 47 shadows ends the combat. Why don't you describe that?
I mean, maybe it's whatever the shuttle, everyone's loading up, and he's holding onto the shuttle with one hand and just blasting out wiping out all of them that are surging up below us as we lift off.
So, like, is this just him being a responsible officer? Get all your people aboard the shuttle, and then you are the last one off, or is this you definitely hogging the kills for the medals?
I mean, I think it's not clear, but I think everyone's just like, he always gets the last kill. Like, I'm sure everyone's pretty sure that that's what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, and then let's get a quick description of what that looks like for Kaminsky and then for Hudson.
I mean, Miter gets the last kills, didn't he? So
yeah, so you're not rolling for kills, but you are just giving us a bit of flavor of what Kaminsky gets up to.
Yeah, I think that Kaminsky sees that the lieutenant is powering up the E-cannon, and so he's trying to run out of the impact area and towards the drop pods.
Okay.
Yeah, and Hudson was trying to move range and failed. I think what happens is Hudson's like trying to get away from the first aliens we saw, and then as the drop pod is landing, and Hudson's like running toward the drop pod, and then he's all like almost there, and then we see these like new aliens emerge from the shadows created by the drop pod, and so Hudson like turns around and he's like trying to run away as fast as he can, but he's like so spun around that he ends up tripping and falling around on his face, like right in the middle of the line of fire of Miter. And then Miter is just like takes them all down, right, with like his E-cannon shots going right over Hudson, who's just hugging the dirt at that point, praying for his life.
Yeah, and then I guess the pilot is hitting the afterburners to get into orbit as quickly as possible. I think if there were any shadow creatures left, they're going to be like burned to a crisp or obliterated from the light spectrum by these engines firing on all cylinders. And quite a few G's in your crash couches. Probably your science guys from the facility, blackout with the acceleration, but you get back up safe to the Appalachia, pretty sharpish. Okay, so that was Klimt. As usual, I think maybe we do our kind of bookkeeping, and then we can do some role playing based on the results of that. That sounds okay. The kill count for that is pretty lopsided for Miter. So Miter gets the level up. And then the other three of you get to roll.
What were the total kills for Miter in the end?
Oh, I have 169 for him.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah. So pretty.
That is more than I have from all. So this is his 8th mission, and that's more kills than he had in the first 7.
Yeah. And that's when I canceled, I don't know, maybe 100 on you for that. For that.
One was 70 and one was like 40 something, so over 100.
Yeah. Okay, so the rest of you all roll a d10, and the best roll, so the highest roll, also gets a level. So your optimal strategy here is to all roll the same number, you know. Okay, so that's Rubinov with a 10. Okay, so when you level up, you add 1 to either fighting ability or non-fighting ability. And then you also unlock a strength or weakness, whichever you have less of. If you do the same of each, you get a strength.
All right, so I'm gonna drop that point in fighting ability, and I unlock another weakness.
Okay. And then for Miter,
For Miter, sorry, what am I doing?
so you get to increase fighting ability or non-fighting ability, and then you get to unlock a strength or a weakness. Whichever you have less of.
I'll up my fighting ability, so now I'm 8 and 8.
Okay. So
And then,
ended lieutenant.
And I guess the E cannon will go to D6 at far.
Okay, yeah. So after you do the level ups, you get to do a free development improvement on one of your weapons. So at one range band, you get to bump it up a level.
This last one is something we all get?
Yeah, so everyone gets this. And so that is, if it's at a D6, it goes to a D10. A D10 goes to 2D6. 2D6 goes to 2D10. But holler if you and at this point in time, it's important to remember, if you've been marking improvements, you only get to improve a weapon at a range band twice, right? So it may have maxed out in some cases. So Terry's E-cannon doesn't get to go to whatever would be above D100. D100 is the max any weapon can get to anyway, but thankfully, any normal weapon.
Does the rocket pod, what is above 3d6?
Above 3d10? So the rocket pod started at 2d10 at long range, and then it goes to 3d10, and then it goes to d100.
Oh, cool. I'll do that. Leveling playing field with the high-ups.
If only you could get to far range.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, cool. Okay, and so then you get to roll to for another development. Now, I think Terry is the only character to have used a strength in that planet. I think, yeah. Okay, so everyone gets to roll, and you're rolling versus non-fighting ability to get this advance. So that is, I guess, roll, and then I'll tell you what goes on. Okay, so okay, so everyone. Terry can, because he uses strength, go for a promotion.
Sure.
Why not? Which would be to captain, and everyone else has a choice of either getting a new weapon or improving a different weapon the same way you did the first. So it has to be a different weapon that you improve by one step at one range band, or you could pick up a new weapon entirely. So Terry, Captain Miter, I should say. When you get to captain, your new responsibilities are ensure no creatures on a plan survive, and deliver mission briefings and plan assaults. You get new weapons. You get a power blade, which is like a similar to but legally distinct from a lightsaber or something from 40k. It does D10 in close combat. And you also get access to an APC, which is good for everyone because it's like armor that moves around with you and has a big gun on top. And you get assigned a TPK bomb, which is like, I don't know, is that Terry's worst nightmare? It's like a grenade, only more so. Let me read out the rules for the TPK bomb. Okay. It is effective only at close range, where it does D100 kills. It's a localized nuclear bomb in simple to use grenade form. The effect is it causes 1 kill to every PC in the encounter at close range, including the user. It's not if you fail your roll, you get killed by it. It's just everyone who's at close range gets killed. And then you total up how many PCs have taken a kill, and that is the number of threat tokens you remove. And for every token you remove, it does D100 kills. So
that's hilarious.
It's more effective the more of your people you kill, basically. So we'll see how Captain Miter deals with that in his arsenal. That is a weapon, though, that if you use it, you need to basically get a new one in a development check in the next mission or between missions. So it's a one use only weapon. Okay. Yeah, congratulations, Captain Miter. I think there's going to be a lot of, when we see him back in the battlefield, there might be some smart comments about how he's suddenly a fan of grenades. Okay. How about the rest of you? What are your weapon improvements going to be?
Rubinov is going to get his hands on a power claw.
Okay, yeah. So that is pretty cool. You know, it's a close combat weapon, so you can switch to it, and it starts with D6 kills up close, and it looks cool, right? Most importantly. Okay, and how about Kaminsky?
I want to improve the slug rifle at close from 1 to, what is it then? D6, I guess.
1 to D6, yeah. Okay, cool. And Hudson?
Hudson has decided to work on his hand-to-hand, which I'd already improved that after an earlier mission. So that's out. His hand-to-hand close is now up to 1d10.
Yeah, cool.
So he's we'll have to start using that next time. Now that the flame gun wasn't doing much for him.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's everything mechanically speaking for the end of mission. Yeah, obviously, I think Miter probably gets a couple of medals to go along with his promotion. So I don't know whether you want to role play through a scene of the aftermath of the planet. Let's start with the lower ranks. What's the scuttlebutt in the mess after this mission? How's Hudson?
Hudson's pretty excited that he has so much of this on film because he was playing with the lights for a while. I think he's actually like he's got in the mess hall, like there, people are having some drinks afterward, and kind of, or in the whatever, in like the rec room where people are relaxing. We're having some drinks, recuperating, and there's some people playing spaceball over in the corner. And Hudson's got like some music set up, like some electronic music, and he's got some visuals up on the wall. He's like taken all the crazy like lighting effects from during the combat, and he's inverted them a little bit, so it doesn't look exactly like combat anymore. It's like the negatives or something, but it's like he's like turned it into these like trippy psychedelic visuals, which is probably giving everybody these traumatic flashbacks too, because we're all like, no, we were just fighting those things. Oh my God. But it's also like, it's danceable now. So.
How about Kaminsky?
Kaminsky is definitely enjoying the show. He found some weed, smoked it, and is dancing to the music and staring, like slowly, obviously, and dancing to and looking at the visuals.
So are we seeing Kaminsky be like more energetic than we've ever seen him outside of combat?
It's a slow dance. It's a slow dance that doesn't involve the feet. It's more like arm movement and nodding and enjoying the visuals.
How about Rubinov?
Rubinov is, he's a dour man. He's probably not enjoying the show as much as everyone else is, but I think he's probably there because it says in the corporal's manual that you're supposed to put on a good face to maintain morale or something. I think he's there, and he's just like zoned out in the corner and clearly uninterested in what is happening.
So is this like unusual for him, or is he just?
I think he's a very like sober person, and he does not particularly enjoy. I think he's not a relaxer.
Yeah. Because he is it like the more people try to get him to get involved, the less likely he is.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the shiny new insignia captain? What's I guess the captains have skulls on their uniform.
I think that's a major.
Major, yeah.
That's when they get the skull. Yeah, I mean, Captain Miter knows how much of all of his success has just been stupid luck. Like from the very first time he got like what's it called? Something so Crimson Sword or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he was a capable trooper, but yeah, just an enormous amount of good fortune has gone. Things have just gone his way, and so I think he knows he's like definitely in over his head, rising to this rank, but he's just kind of okay. I'm going with it, and just trying not to show it on the outside that he's just like doesn't necessarily know what he's doing. Or how things have gone this well for him, So I think from the outside, he looks like, oh yeah, he's very calculated. He's playing the politics. He's moving up in ranks, like, and not at all. He's just, like, he didn't do any of that.
So is he letting his hair down at this kind of impromptu party that the ranks are throwing, or what?
No, I think he's probably trying to play the part of like a serious officer.
So yeah, I think maybe the captain of the, I mean, like he's a naval captain, so he's still higher ranked than you, but Captain Diaz, invites you up to his wardroom maybe for some proper dinner. Definitely not trooper rations, and to congratulate you on a mission, well executed. Certainly High Command will be happy that although we lost the facility, we've gotten the research, and one of the scientists who'll be able to read our people through the solution. So everything wasn't lost, which is what's most important. So I think back in party deck, right? There's no klaxon when you go into hyperspace, because you just get a warning flash. If there's something you really don't want to start floating, maybe tie it down, but whatever. So I think the kind of psychedelic dance floor goes 0G right in the middle of a track, and everyone who's dancing starts floating, right? To add to the psychedelic qualities of that. I mean, this is a good use of that week-long 0G combat training course that you did in basic, right? Zero G dancing, right? That's the only use you've ever gotten out of it.
I think Kaminsky is more floating than dancing now. Probably enjoying his state of mind.
Yeah, and I guess the whatever passes for moonshine aboard the Appalachia has gotten broken out. Yeah, so some of the crew aboard are joining in.
Appropriate that the Appalachia has moonshine.
Yeah. Well, you have a small frigate, and people are probably a little bit out of the watchful eye of High Command here. Usually they might just have a platoon of the brigade aboard, maybe a company at a pitch, but it's very apt. The Appalachia in space with moonshine is definitely doing the rounds. Okay. Anyone want to add something more as a coda for this sector? Let's go around the table again. Let's start with Hudson again.
Sorry, it took me a while to find my unmute. I think Hudson's uploading some more videos. I think he's finally mastered that music tape, and he's actually put in like a dubstep drop, and like when the drop hits and the music speeds up, you see this the killing sequence of Miter taking out 169 of these shadow creatures, and there's the numbers tick up in the corner of the screen, and he uploads that to Space YouTube. He's going for the simpler thrills now in his videos.
Okay.
He's no longer trying to do the hard hitting reporting.
Okay.
He's realized it's too hard to get that past his censor.
Yeah, he's given up the underground truth seeker and gone with, kill count propagandist.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Kaminsky.
Kaminsky tries to find the brewers on the ship, and tries to get in the circle of those who know how to make a good moonshine.
Okay, so you trying to set yourself up as a in terms of supply or the knowledge?
Supply,
Okay.
primarily.
So yeah, I think there's probably some things that Kaminsky has to offer them that they'll help them get a few bottles, and then maybe when fleet is back together, you might get a regular supply line set up. You'll have to. I think maybe you'll have to give up or scrounge something in your regular, rations or commissary supplies. What do these guys want that you have?
I think a good way to make moonshine is to get bread fermented. So he will give them his dark bread that is unedible anyways.
Yeah,
in his opinion.
Well, I mean, I just love German black bread from what I remember from the times I was over there. Definitely an acquired taste. So you may as well do something useful with it by making it into moonshine. How about Rubinov? What's he getting up to as we see him?
Rubinov is, he's I think we see Rubinov at like a commissary as he is getting his new power claw. You see him like at the stand. He's commissioning it or whatever. He's requesting it because he has gotten it as a reward for his performance. And the guy at the stand, says something to him. The guy at the stand is like, "So, why are you trained in this? Is this your specialty?" And Rubinov looks at him and he just goes, "My commanding officer said that grenades are a last resort, and I thought it might be good to get somebody to fill in that gap. And don't ask questions, soldier. You're a quartermaster. You don't go on the ground. One of these days, you're going to get something you don't want to hear."
Well, I guess that must be Lieutenant Leiter, huh? He's got a. We've all heard the stories about grenades. I think he came down here a couple of sectors ago and requested that we stop giving you guys grenades.
Yeah, he's not a fan of them. Yeah, doesn't like his medicine. So
they're all the same, officers. They don't like it up them.
Yeah,
I guess I wouldn't advise anyone to take that into their own hands on planet.
Yeah, and Rubinov nods. He sort of holds up his power-clawed hand, looking at it, and he nods. He goes, "Yeah, I think this will work. Thanks."
Okay. And Quartermaster obviously misranked Captain Miter there, but maybe the word hasn't spread yet. How do we see Captain Miter close off?
I think Captain Miter is like rewriting the field manual grenade protocols. Putting his own spin that he will then try to send up the ranks.
Okay. We'll see how that dark encounter with brigade bureaucracy goes. There's a tough planet to take on later on. You're battling with humanoids who use paperwork against you. Okay, yeah. So I think we can wrap up there. Yeah, that's the end of Kilo Sector, and I'll be doing, I think, Oscar Sector in August. So that'll be another while yet, but looking forward to that. So yeah, thanks all for playing, and I'll stop recording now.